Hey, beautiful souls. I just wanted to jump in with a video today. Just in terms of actually dealing with perhaps some grief or loneliness or obviously experiences of isolation that you may be experiencing during lockdown. Now, first and foremost, it's important to know that these are very human emotions and it's okay to be feeling that way. One of the toughest things that we do to ourselves, and certainly something that can create feelings of numbness, feelings of exhaustion, is when we deny or we repress or suppress our emotion. What's actually happening when that happens is it takes tremendous energy to deny or to resist how we're actually really feeling, and we can end up, like I said, expending a lot of energy and a lot of emotion to repress things. When emotion is repressed, it plays out in the body on a metaphysical level, and can often cause sickness and disease in many other ways. So it's really important to allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, and I'm going to give you some great tips today on what you can do in order to feel closer and feel more connected and experience that sense of love and connection with your loved ones, perhaps even if you're not able to physically connect with them. One of the biggest things is when we feel, and I certainly went through this experience myself, my girls and I are now 6 hours apart, and obviously with the latest New South Wales lockdown, feeling that right or the ability to be able to travel at any time and go and see my girls is tremendously difficult. And of course, you may experience, as I did, grief, anger, frustration, and a whole host of different emotions around that. Now, one of the ways that I find really, really effective with that is definitely EFT tapping, where you can be tapping on different aspects of the body, basically the endpoints of meridians, and it helps to release stress out of the body. You can YouTube it on anything around EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It's a very powerful tool that you can use around these things. Now, a couple of other different things that you might want to consider is doing things to brighten your loved one's day. This can be through sending particular surprises. It can be through sending a note or sending a handwritten letter, or sending, just anything that might either make them laugh or be helpful for them in their day-to-day life as well. So one of the things my girls and I do on a regular basis, we've been doing this for a long time, not just during lockdown, but it's even more helpful during lockdown, is of course FaceTime. So being able to share a meal together over video. Yes, it is different to being in person, and yes, there's nothing quite like a physical hug in reality, but I always look for what can I do rather than what can't I do. Often when we're focused on what can't I do, we end up feeling powerless, we end up feeling sad, we end up feeling that we aren't able to experience life in the way that we're wanting to. Now, so by focusing on what can I do, you might come up with a whole host of things, whether it's sending, funny things to your loved ones, whether it's something on YouTube that's made you giggle or made you laugh, or a funny meme, like I mentioned, different cards. It could even be just little, survival packages, or a little package that's a little care package for them with maybe an essential oil, some, a cup of tea or a tea bag of a certain sort, or there's so many different ways, there's so many different ideas, and it doesn't necessarily need to cost an absolute fortune, and can touch that person's heart. But the best thing about these things is that you feel connected with them when you're doing these things as well. So it can often make a huge difference, meaning that when we're feeling a sense of love, or we're thinking of that person, that is what helps us feel very connected with somebody as well. When we're in the experience of grief, or we're in the experience of missing somebody, this is the same with law of attraction, law of reflection, for everything. When you're in the experience of missing, then you are in the experience of not having what it is that you want, whether or not, and I know this might sound like I'm kind of like playing with different, meanings on words, but really it is literally true. When you're in the experience of missing somebody, you feel disconnected, you feel isolated, you feel separate from. Whereas when you bring yourself back into feeling the love that you have for them in your heart, you will feel so much more connected with them. Again, it's the head, the fear, the grief, the angst, as opposed to coming back to our heart center, knowing that we're all connected energetically, and thinking of beautiful thoughts or sending blessings to your loved ones every single day can certainly be a way that helps you to feel less isolated, help you to feel connected, and knowing that you're sending magical blessings to them that really, honestly, can make such a powerful, positive influence for somebody's life, is making a tremendous difference. Not only that, it'll have you feeling better, which again helps you to remain much more stable, much more calm, much more connected. When we spend a lot of time in those lower energy emotions, so grief, despair, powerlessness, fear, anger, it depletes our life force energy. It's completely opposite to feeling passion, energy, enjoyment, enthusiasm. And again, please hear, I'm not making these emotions wrong. If you are feeling that way, you need to allow yourself to feel them, to experience that emotion, and then to focus more on what it is that you do want to create and what can you do rather than what can't you do right now. These things are really, really powerful. And like I mentioned, when we spend a lot of time in feeling powerless, in feeling grief, despair, fear, worry, anger, all of those lower energy emotions, it actually massively starts to impact your immune system, it impacts your health, it impacts your well-being, and further down the track can certainly lead to adrenal fatigue and adrenal burnout. So if you've been feeling that way and you feel powerless to change the way that you feel, often, and I used to feel that way as well, that my emotions just happened to me, that I didn't know how to change them, or I didn't know how to make myself feel different. I just felt the way that I did because of the situation. I had no emotional wisdom in terms of, or emotional mastery in terms of being able to change the way that I feel through my focus and through some tools and skills that I've learned that have served me for life. But having that way can absolutely make such a huge difference, and is often such a powerful way in terms of healing our own exhaustion or our lower energy. When you start to get really low energy, you may be experiencing brain fog, you may be experiencing dizziness, you may be experiencing nausea, or just a feeling off. And the more that we're in those lower energy frequencies, again, it has us living in a fight-flight state where every day feels like a struggle, every day feels like we're just getting through the day. And honestly, it can deplete our system so fast, and then has you burning so much adrenaline to try and force yourself, to try and motivate yourself to get through the day. And it's so important. We are in for a marathon. It's certainly not a sprint at this point in time in our human evolution. And having the emotional tools in order to be able to reset your body, reset your emotional state, for your own personal well-being, for your immunity, and for your general happiness, remembering that every single day that we live is a mini version of our life. So if we're not feeling happy on a day-to-day basis, it doesn't take long for 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years to go by, and that has now become our life by the emotional state that we're living in. So knowing how to change things is absolutely imperative. And if you'd like to know more, please reach out, send me a PM, and let's book in a time to chat and see if and how I may be able to help you. Have an amazing day. Lots of love. Bye.